Taking my first look at the 2024 Kentucky Derby, the first thing I generally do is look at the pace. I try to see who's going to be up or on the lead and try and get a handle on what the likely pace is going to be, and that's going to really dictate how I consider to bet the race. So you want to get an idea of what you think the race shape is going to be. Right off the bat, I've got the early brisk PPs here. I'm going to go right down through them. The first horse that is an early horse is Fierceness. Fierceness is listed as an E. He pretty much is an E because his 3 wins have been on the lead or second by a head at the second call here in the juvenile. This is probably the most talented horse in the field, yet he is erratic and he goes in and out, and he just had a huge race off the layoff, and that makes him eligible for a bit of a bounce, in my opinion. I don't see him getting clear, so he's gonna be battling at the second call, most likely. Stronghold has some pace. He's kind of more of an EP. He doesn't go out looking for the lead. Looking at Resilience also as an EP. His only good pace race was in the Wood, and that from the clock, that just doesn't look like it was that fast. But the figure makers have that race ranked pretty good. I'm a little bit skeptical of that Wood Memorial, and that race hasn't done well here in quite a few years. Dornock will be a pace factor. His 3 wins, he was on the lead at the first and second call. He's shown ability to duke it out, but I just don't think he's fast enough to go with these other guys and carry this through for the whole race. This guy, Just a Touch, early presser. This guy can run fast early and carry it through. Only has 3 races, but he's got the look of a horse that can win this race to me, and he's got really strong early numbers there in the last race. In this race, I think he'll be a little bit more balanced on those numbers, but he's going to need to get up into the 90s with an LP, so he's going to have to run probably like a 105, 106, 98 to 100 to win. The one true horse that really wants to get out and get the lead in here is Track Phantom. You can see this guy's gone out and been on the lead at the first call of every race except for the Gun Runner Stakes here, which he's capable of getting out there. But it seems like when he wins, he's gotten pretty clear at the second call. But he looks a little light off of quite a number of races. He looks a little bit light for being able to win this, and he's not going to be able to fight off all this other contention. West Saratoga, he's a front-running type, but I look him as he just doesn't want to get the lead. He's happy to press just off the lead, it looks like, so he's probably not going to be gunning. Domestic Product, more of a presser. Same with Catalytic. Encino is capable of being a pace factor. This is another one that really has a nice improving pattern and has done nothing wrong. Seems a little bit slower than Just a Touch, but he is an improving horse. T.O. Password, we don't have any figures on this Japanese horse, but he is a front-running type, so he's going to be in the mix early. Epic Ride, another one. He is possibly going to be going out early, but he'll press two, settle just off. But in the two races that he's won, we're done wiring the field at those lower level races. This horse just doesn't appear to be good enough or capable of improving enough to win this race here. But anyhow, the pace horses are Fierceness, Stronghold, Dornack, Just a Touch, Track Phantom, Encino, Tio Password, and Epic Ride. So all of those are going to be forwardly placed early, and Track Phantom is going to go. And amongst that whole group with that many, we're looking at 8 horses in there that are going to have to be fairly close. There's bound to be at least a couple of those that are gonna go with Track Phantom and likely push this pace. So I look for this pace to be a little more than average, and it could get hot, and it could set up for one of the off-the-pace runners. The other thing I like to look at early is what trainers have multiple entries, and look at their running styles and see if one is going to be a rabbit for another or not. On this sheet, I've listed the horses I just talked about with their early pace and how I see their form looking through from the bottom up. Before I get into the trainers, I'm going to look at that form on those guys. Fierceness is a good, bad kind of race animal. It's quite possible that he bounces. He's going to be pressured up front. I don't think he's going to get away from the rest of these guys. I don't think they're going to let him go. I know Track Phantom isn't going to let him go because he's going to get up there. Stronghold has a decent improving pattern, but he may be a little bit too slow. I don't know if he's going to be able to make the jump up to be able to be involved in that pace and move forward. Dornack is also slow compared to these others, and he's got to make a big leap to win this race. I don't think he can. Just a Touch has been very steady in his 3 starts. He can jump and make a move to win this race. He's right there now, actually. And of the Cox bunch, I think this guy is probably the most likely winner. Track Phantom, I think, is going to be a pace factor only. I don't think he can win. I think he's going to get up there, force the pace, and then fade out. Encino, the other Cox horse, is moving up. Doesn't look as fast as Just a Touch right now, but he has a really nice improving pattern if he goes in here. He may not. They may pull him and wait for the Preakness or something else. Tio Password seems slow, or Epic Ride rather, is slow compared to the others. Good pace last time, but I don't see this one jumping pace figures again like he did in the last race and then improving that final speed as well. Tio Password, we don't have any numbers on him, the Japanese horse. He is a front-running type and will be forwardly placed, but I don't think he can win. I think the Japanese horse with the chance is Forever Young, and we'll talk about him next time. Looking at the trainers with multiple entries, right now Brad Cox has Encino, Just a Touch, and Catching Freedom. Now he's got 3 legitimate contenders in here, but primarily Just a Touch and Catching Freedom with the opposite running styles. Now I don't think he's going to sacrifice Just a Touch to be a rabbit for Catching Freedom. Just a Touch has enough ability to win this race on his own. So this is an interesting group of 3 for Brad Cox, and this gives him a really good chance to win this Derby. Chad Brown has Sierra Leone and Domestic Product. I have a preference for Domestic Product as a live, legitimate long shot. I also run some astrology on these races along with the conventional handicapping, and Domestic Product sets up with a really good chart for this race. Sierra Leone is a great 3-year-old, and he is probably the most likely horse to be in the money. He's just that good, and the pace is setting up for him to have a big race. Danny Gargan has Dornock and Society Man. Dornock, he could use Dornock to push the pace for Society Man. I think Dornock is a little too slow to win. So if Gargan sees it the same way, why not use Dornock as a pace factor to try to set up a good run for Society Man? I don't know if he's good enough, but he has made a big jump last time, and he's likely to get a bounce. So I don't look really for either of those two to win. Looking at the form factors for these other guys, Catching Freedom is improving. Sierra Leone, like I said, is the most likely in the money. His pattern is very solid. And Domestic Product is got slow numbers, but I can get beyond that to an extent because if you look at the pace figures in that Tampa Bay Derby and that was a crawl, and a horse that like that who likes to sit back a bit, there's no way you're going to get a good final number with those kind of weak early fractions. And then a few long shots that I like that I'm looking at, along with Domestic Product, I like Honor Marie. And then Encino. I'm not sure if Encino's going to go here, but let's take a look at Domestic Product past performance and take a look at those slow pace races. All right, here's Domestic Product. His 3-year-old races were the Holy Bull and then the Tampa Bay Derby. And you can see the numbers are slow. The pace figures are pathetic here. With this 49.44 in the Tampa Bay Derby and the 63.72 in the Holy Bull. The late pace figures were so large because those early numbers were so slow. I mean, look at that, 25-1, 51, 116-1 in a Grade 3 stakes race. 25, 50-2, 114-1. Those are definitely going to put a damper on the horse's ability to crank out a good final number. I would really have to take those numbers and increase them substantially if there was an honest pace in that race. And the horse showing the ability to win that last race after sitting back is a good sign. I think this horse is one who can really make some noise in the Tri and Super at a really good price. Honor Marie, I look at similarly to Catching Freedom. I think these two are very close. Honor Marie is going to be the much better value just because Catching Freedom won the Louisiana Derby and Honor Marie came second. But to me, these two are equal. Jumping down to the summary page, taking a look at the pace and speed figures here. Resilience looks like a really nice horse. I'm still not sold on that. Figure they gave the Wood Memorial there, that 104. but I did like the way Resilience looked and ran in that race. It looked very powerful. Society Man, I think, is a little bit inflated there. Sierra Leone's obviously good horse, just a touch. A really nice improving horse, and then down to Honor Marie, then Stronghold. Those are probably the most likely winners underneath of that group. For the long shots, I'm sitting here with Domestic Product and then Honor Marie right now are the two that I'm really looking at. So it's a little bit early. We're still 8 days away. I'm going to wait for the draw, see the final field, and then come back with a bit more, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about the astrology that's going on in this race.